Utilizing an effective positive EV betting strategy can yield you crazy returns in the long run. And in this video, I'll be showing you a website that just does everything for you. DailyGrind Fantasy is in the business of helping you maximize your profits that really requires very little work to be done on your end. For example, there was a winner yesterday who hit a 25 times multiplier using the optimizer tool from DailyGrind. Looking at this picture, you can see that they were able to find 6 plays that were all projected over 54%. And better put all of these in one slip and turn $5 into $125. Also, make sure you're staying ahead of the game by signing up for their new email notifications for the optimizer, because as we know, odds are always changing, and whenever there is a good positive EV play that is to be had, they will shoot you an email making sure that you are jumping on that as soon as possible. And as you can see in this example, in one email that Daily Grind sent, they had a 99% chance play on better, and that bet hit fairly easily. So also, not only should you be subscribing to the email notification system through Daily Grind, but also make sure you're subscribing to this channel as well, because I will be dropping daily content on here, betting on the NBA, NFL, and all other major sports. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and open up this optimizer, and we'll be looking at the NFL to make some bets in these Saturday matchups. Also, if this is your first time to this channel, I am DJ Riley. I am one of the hosts of the Boys on the Bench. And in this one, like I said, we are going to be looking at the NFL. So as you can see here, if you are new to Daily Grind, they have all of these daily fantasy sites up here. So whichever one you use, or if you have multiple ones, click through these because they are always changing. As we can see here, there's some pretty good percentage odds to hits against League of Legends. All of these sitting around that 55, 54, and then it starts to drop down again to 53%. But if we jump over to Underdog Fantasy, we can see that it is very different. The 54%, 53, 53, 53. So there are some better odds on Prize Picks, but what we are doing is I am looking for NFL bets today. I kind of want to throw all of those into one bet. So if I do clear all in these leagues, go to the NFL, then we can start to see here that there are some decent plays in here. Their highest play is at 54.14%, but I am betting on the Saturday games. So they do have Saturday, and then it jumps into Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Saturday. So if we jump over here to Underdog Fantasy, go ahead and check out and see what they have for the NFL. Clear all. Just want to select the NFL here and see what plays they have. So they definitely have an Amari Cooper and a Joe Flacco play here that are very, very positive plays here. And then we start to see it drop off. This is a Sunday game, and then it goes Saturday, Saturday. So we could definitely start to use some of these because we're really looking for an average of 54. I don't think that we will necessarily get that, but we will compare what they have as their percentage odd to hit, and where they come up with this number, if you look at it, is currently Underdog is offering this line at 5.5. So are all of these other books offering them at 5.5, but you can tell that they're heavily favored, but Underdog doesn't take that into account. Really, we just have to throw it into a parlay, and then we're rocking and rolling. Joe Flacco is very similar. We can see here the fantasy score projections. All of his are sitting around 21, 22, 17. So this is the only one that's projected to have him go lower, but he has two projecting him to go a lot higher, giving him roughly that 55%. So let's take a look at Amari Cooper. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over here to the LineMate website as well and check these. So we are looking for Amari Cooper. So right now I'm on the Cleveland-Houston game, and it's going to bring you up to the team first. So let's go to player, and then I want to look for, let's see, change this to Amari Cooper. And we were looking at his receptions and kind of looking at how he fared really the last couple games. So as we can see here, the receptions, he's hit over 5.5, 6 out of the 15 times, 2 out of the last 3. His last game that he did play in was versus Houston, and he had 11 receptions. So they're really wanting us to hint at the under. The under has hit 4 out of his last 6 games, the over 2 out of his last 6 games, but Houston, he had 11. Now, all of these books, again, this is where the positive EV betting comes in. All the books are heavily favoring him at under 5.5 receptions here. So considering that it's at 55%, that is a very good play. So let's go ahead and hop over here to Underdog Fantasy, and we'll just type in Amari up here to make it easy to find him. We see the 5.5 receptions here. Let's go ahead and just hit the lower. Now, hopping back over to Daily Grind, we see that the next play, and that is Joe Flacco going over 18.55 fantasy score projections. Like I said, 55%. And these two sports books have him going well over that by 3 to 4 points, roughly. So let's look again. Now, the thing with line mates is they don't do fantasy projections, but we can kind of see how Joe Flacco has performed in his last couple games. So not the anytime touchdown. Let's kind of just look at passing yards. So passing yards is at 300, 300, 300, 300. So really 300 in his last 4 games. And versus the Houston, he had 368. Also in that game, I believe he did have 3 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, in that Houston game, he did have 3 touchdowns. If you scroll down here, we can see his full stat line. 42 pass attempts, 368 pass yards, 2 interceptions, couple touchdowns, like we said, 3 touchdowns here, 36-22. So I do like this play here as well. Now, the thing with that is we just have to hope, again, that we don't hit Amari Cooper more than 6 times because, again, we're going over here, under here. But I do like this. David Njoku is also another play that maybe is worth a correlation stack here as well. So if we go back to Underdog Fantasy, type in Flacco, we can see looking for his fantasy score typically at the bottom right here. We want to go higher in this play. So now we have the 2 plays of Amari Cooper going lower than 5.5 receptions, but Joe Flacco going over the 18.55 fantasy point score here. So now we're looking for 2 to 3 more plays here. Underdog only allows you a 5-play max. Jameson Williams is a Sunday play that would be worth a good stack. So if you did want to throw this in here, it is worth it. But I'm looking for just kind of Saturday plays here. The next one that they have is CJ Stroud. Pass attempts going over 33.5. Looking at how the books have them, 33.5. They do have a 34 here. Also a 34 here. So they do have a couple 34s, and the ones that aren't 34s but are sitting at that 33.5, that is very similar to the underdog, or is similar to the underdog. They're all favored 130, 160, 130, 151, 140. So again, very much hinting at their sports books are really leaning towards the over on pass attempts. So I don't think that CJ Stroud had played against Cleveland, but let's go ahead and look. So if we look at Houston, then we go find CJ Stroud. And again, we are looking just for pass attempts. So looking at his last couple games, yeah, it doesn't look like he played against Cleveland here, but looking at his last couple, setting it at 33.5, he's hit the over in roughly 50%, 7 of his 15 games. And his last couple of games, it's 26, 32, 23, 27, 36. So really, again, yeah, hasn't hit it in his last 4, but then the 4 prior to that, he hit it in every single one. So I do like it. The pass yards are low, but also so it's very hard to run versus this Cleveland defense. And I know that the last time that they faced, Devin Singletary had a very low usage, did not run a lot. So Devin Singletary, let's go look at his rush attempts here. And let's see what it looked like versus Cleveland. 9 rush attempts, 44 yards. So he was effective, but you can tell, again, they really didn't rush a whole lot. So because of that, let's go ahead and head back to Daily Grind. I like this play. They have it very heavily favored again against the books, giving us roughly a 54% chance to hit it. So we're looking at CJ Stroud going over 33.5 pass attempts. So let's hop back over to Daily Grind. Type in Stroud, and we're looking at pass attempts. We can see it here, the 33.5 passing attempts, and we want to go higher on that. So again, we have 3 plays here, really looking for 1 to 2 more, and really to finish this thing out. So looking at our next Saturday play, we just finished off here. Sunday, Monday, Saturday is Kahimi Fairbairn, the Houston Texans kicker. This is also something that Line Mates doesn't do, are the kicker stats. So looking here, 1.5 is we're looking at over, heavily favoring it in 3 books with Fliff, Caesars, and DraftKings here. So 145, 131, 145. So really, again, favoriting that a lot. And this is honestly a play that I like for him that, like I said, just mentioned earlier, the Cleveland Browns have a very strong defense. So considering that they may not get into the end zone every time that they get close on the other side of the field. So I like Kahimi Fairbairn going over 1.5 plays here. So let's see. Let's go back here. 1.5 field goals made. We're going for the higher, as it says here on over for underdog at 1.5. So now we've added that higher. So now we have 4 plays here. And let's see if we can find one more with decent odds. So we just finished here on Saturday, Sunday, Saturday. So the other kicker, again, for the Cleveland Browns, Riley Patterson. Let's look at what the other books are doing for him. They give us a 53.51%. This is typically pretty low for what I'm looking for. So let's see, though, what the books are doing for him here. So has him at 6.5. This one's 6.5. Several 6.5. And then we have a 7 here. For Riley Patterson. So definitely hinting at maybe the books are wrong. All of them are heavily favoring that 6.5 points here. So Riley Patterson kicking points over 6.5. Let's look at the next, if there's another Sunday play. And I feel like, yes, again, we are getting far too low into these Saturday plays. So let's go back up here to where we just had Riley Patterson. I feel like this is our next best bet in this positive EV strategy here. We do have a couple plays over 55% or sitting around 55%. So I do like this Riley Patterson. I think that this is one that we can get away with. And again, looking for 6.5, over 6.5 points here. Let's go back to Underdog and type in Riley Patterson, and 6.5 kicking points is what we're looking at. And again, they want us to go higher on this. It's what all of the books are projecting for us. So again, going back through these picks, have Amari Cooper going lower than 5.5 receptions, Joe Flacco going over 18.5 fantasy points, CJ Stroud going higher than 33.5 pass attempts, Jamie Fairbairn going over 1.5 field goals made, and then the other kicker, Riley Patterson, going over 6.5 kicking points. So anyways, guys, this is how you use Daily Grind Fantasy. And again, like I said, the odds are always changing. I'm not sure how long this Amari Cooper player is going to be there. So make sure you are jumping on that, joining the Daily Grind. Now, if you need a quick link to get there, check in the description below, and it will take you straight there to check out their website. Anyways, I hope you love some of these plays. Let me know in the comments which ones you are tailing, which ones you are fading. Also, don't forget to subscribe and like this comment or like this post, and we will see you next time.